some people say, if you're, hey!
What do you want to know about this answer?
I want to know the truth.
Tell me about what you feel emotionally during an interrogation.
Anger. You're looking at humans as an information source, and if you really think about it, that's all a human being is. The more you fight, the harder you breathe. And the harder you breathe, the more your body demands oxygen.
Hey, bring your feet together. Stay in that position.
You've given me 3 answers to this one simple question. Why would I waste my time with another question? Do you recommend people try this at home?
Absolutely not. Do not try anything you see depicted in this video at home. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be interrogated at a CIA black site? Well, I certainly have, and to find out what it's really like, I volunteered to experience it for myself. For my interrogators, I recruited former CIA agent Andrew Bustamante and ex-Blackwater mercenary Trevor Fortner to take me through the most commonly used enhanced interrogation techniques. I then rented a scary-looking kidnapping van and warehouse in Milwaukee, and I invited my friend, podcaster Julian Dorey, to share in the suffering alongside me. Enhanced interrogation techniques, or EITs, have been some of the most controversial methods the United States has used in the war on terror. These tactics were designed after 9/11 by 2 psychologists, James Mitchell and Bruce Jessen, under the premise that techniques which avoid permanent physical harm are not considered torture. EITs were used by the CIA from 2002 until President Obama banned them with an executive order in 2009 due to the growing consensus that these methods violate human rights, international law, and do not actually produce reliable intelligence, and allegedly they are no longer in use today. So folks, join me now in a CIA black site simulation. Disclaimer, do not try this at home. These scenes are simulations performed by trained professionals with years of experience and a nurse on site. All participants in this video are friends in real life and consenting adults. Quick announcement, boys. It's time to go guns blazing into the summer, so we launched a shirt to represent that. Available in moss green and brown, it's time to gear up and be a certified big dog. These shirts and others available at TommyGMcGee.com.
We are about to pick up Julian Dorey. Julian Dorey is serving as an American citizen to show what it would look like if a US citizen was picked up by authorities for any kind of intensive questioning. When you see this hand signal, that means it's go time. And when you guys see this, that means it's go now.
What's up, everybody? This is Julian Dorey. I'm coming to you live. We are covering the Kia Boy story. Now,
Julian Dorey?
yeah.
I need you to come with me, sir.
Oh, this is a day ruiner.
We're about to go pick up Tommy, and we've set up a scenario where Tommy thinks that he's going to be interviewing several people locally as one of his normal videos before he goes to a different location to get snatched. Instead, we're going to snatch him in the middle of the interview in front of a watching audience so we can see how they react and so that we can get the jump on Tommy.
All right, guys, we're boots on the ground in Milwaukee talking about some controversial issues. Guys, can I get your take on what's happening in Los Angeles right now?
Well, we haven't really heard anything much about it. We're from the UK, so...
Do you have any takes on what's happening in Los Angeles right now?
Oh, it's horrible. All the property's being destroyed.
Are you worried that this might usher in the beginning of a surveillance state where database is kept? Your name, your home address?
Usher in? We're already on a database.
About 15 feet back to our 5 o'clock.
You guys take position behind it.
It's up to us.
So are you afraid of a company like Palantir coming in here and eroding our freedoms?
You know, I don't know a whole lot about Palantir, but
The counterpoint, one more question, the counterpoint is some people say,
And when you guys see this, that means it's go now.
hey, 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 hey! What the f? The f feds! Come on, lawyer! Dan Adams! Who is that?
What the f did you do? It's Julian, dick.
What the f are you doing here? What is this, 50 Shades of Grey? Oh, my wife doesn't even do this to me. Hey, let me keep my shoes out, my Crocs! Hey!
If you continue to resist, I'll add more restraint.
3 minutes to destination.
3 minutes.
It was only a few minutes in and things were not looking good. I was zip-tied, there was a knee on my back that was making my breathing more difficult, and already a creeping sense of powerlessness was setting in.
Standing. Walk forward. All the way down.
It was quite the first day.
Why? Tommy, put your head in the corner. Step your feet back.
Just walking on my feet. You could just say please next time.
Stand. Stop.
My name is Andrew Bustamante, and I'm a former clandestine CIA intelligence officer. I served with CIA from 2007 to 2014. When I was with the military, I learned about an introduction to interrogation, and then when I was with the CIA, I became part of multiple teams that were engaged in debriefing hostile intelligence targets from terrorist organizations. Some of those operations included enhanced interrogation briefings.
Roof is closed. Lean back. Stay in this position.
Why are you doing this?
Quiet.
I didn't sign up for this Craigslist ad.
All these techniques you see are outlined in a top secret CIA handbook. While much of it is redacted, we can show you some of the tactics approved for use, like facial holds, stress positions, facial and belly slaps, and use of cold. These methods are delivered in a calculated manner designed to bring a detainee to such a level of discomfort that they want nothing more than for it to end. And what I want to draw your attention to is how pages 46 through 67 are redacted, leaving me to wonder what could possibly be worse than waterboarding, mock executions, or being shackled for days.
Stand.
Let it happen, Tom.
Now, because we're trying to keep Tommy safe and we're trying to abide by YouTube principles, we've let him remain in his underpants. Otherwise, if this was a true interrogation, we would have stripped him down full.
Am I that dangerous? You guys gonna do this?
Lift your head up. Lift your head up.
My name is Trevor Fortner. I spent 12 years with the United States Navy. 3 of those was with an Army Green Beret counterterrorism team. About 4 years with Blackwater, and then 4 years working for the United Arab Emirates Presidential Guard.
Sit tight, gentlemen. We have both of our captives in custody. We have put them into a position where they do not have control over their own movement or their own location. This is part of a psychological breaking down process to prepare them for what we're going to do with them next. we're going to move them into a series of stress positions. Those stress positions are positions that are unnatural to the body. Let's put them in transit position.
Secure his arm. Bring your feet together.
Do you think it'd be accurate if people assumed that most CIA interrogators are some sort of sociopath or psychopath?
That would not be a safe assumption. There are sociopaths that exist in federal government. I would not say that there are psychopaths that exist in federal government. There's a very detailed vetting process that prevents those people from becoming uniformed, sworn officers to the Constitution.
You know what's a hassle? Getting interrogated by the CIA. But what can help avoid you some hassles is the sponsor of today's video, AnyDesk. AnyDesk is a remote viewing software that helps you take care of business. I mean, picture this. You're on the phone for the 9th time with your grandpa, and he's asking you how to copy and paste, what is a browser, and you're just like, Grandpa, if you ask me one more time, I think I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. Instead of having to drive all the way to him to help him with his problem, you can remote access into his computer with the help of AnyDesk and solve these problems in a much more easy way. Whether you're helping a family member or keeping an eye on an employee in a company computer or remote accessing your work computer from the beach, AnyDesk is a digital teleportation app. The good news is AnyDesk is free if you are a personal user, and if you are a business client, they offer custom plans for you. And they promise lightning fast connections on all major platforms from iOS to Android to Mac and more. If this sounds like it can help your life, click the link and get started for free at anydesk.com/TommyG. And now folks, back to the video.
Keep your feet and knees together. Do you understand?
Yes.
You're gonna tell me while I'm here. Hands coming loose.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
Secured on the right. Screw flip.
Stop resisting. Right. Complete.
The first thing that's really hard to come to grips with is how utterly powerless you are in this situation. Whether it's my neck being held against the van or my head being held in a corner of the elevators, they're bringing me from one spot to another. When you're bound and there's no potential, even if you squeeze a little bit or try and move, you're going nowhere. It's a level of powerlessness that I've never experienced in my life. In the interrogations that you participated in, do you feel like that person deserved to be in that chair having those things happen?
I have met more people in my life that deserve a bullet in the face than you have met people in your life that you would like to have a drink with. We're simulating an interrogation, so that means that Tommy and Julian have to refrain from giving us truthful answers. Their goal is to resist the interrogation. Our goal is to succeed in the interrogation. So we're going to be asking them very basic questions, questions that you know the answer to and we know the answer to, but when they answer those basic questions incorrectly, that's Tommy and Julian's way of showing us that they are resisting the questioning. Question number 1. What is 1 plus 2?
3.
3 is the answer?
Can you tell me why I'm here first?
The question is, what is 1 plus 2? You've answered 3.
To the best of my knowledge, that's 4.
Answer the question. You previously said 1 plus 2 is 3. Did you not, Tommy?
I don't recall. It's easier if you're on time and I can answer all these questions you want.
Answer his question. I wonder if a little more time is going to bring you back to your original answer. We'll find out.
What was the longest period of time that you saw someone get interrogated for?
15 to 30 minutes at a time, usually during scheduled interrogations, and oftentimes after the interrogation actually occurred. It was our chance to review footage of the interrogation to see if any significant intelligence was shared.
Tell me about the torture memos.
There were a lot of memos that came about during the question of whether CIA was torturing folks in Guantanamo Bay and other secret sites. The memos themselves were really part of internal classified CIA documentation. The memos, the traffic did confirm that enhanced interrogation was being used and that the techniques that went into enhanced interrogation did suit or did fit civilian court definition of torture. At this point, we have Tommy put in what's known as a transit position. That position is very stressful because it makes blood rush to the head and it doesn't give the lower extremities or upper extremities any opportunity to stretch out without pulling on the other extremity. So it's a very uncomfortable position that's designed to increase the blood flow to his head, which will come with headaches and lightheadedness and some other things. We have a nurse on site to make sure that we don't lose Tommy so he doesn't pass out or hurt himself, but we want him to feel what's really happening.
Oh, just the way it's in a warehouse.
Stop talking.
Looks like a lot of that.
Who do you guys work for?
Stop talking.
One of the key elements that we're going to use against both Julian and Tommy is the element of time. Stressful positions and long durations of time break down an individual's psychology and makes them more susceptible to cooperation.
What you personally have done within interrogations, you would stand behind and said, yes, I did the right thing.
Absolutely. Are you with us?
Yep, I'm here.
You guys doing?
The is this shit? Go to your stomach.
What the you guys want from me?
Get to your stomach.
I'm back in transit. It looks like a restraint broke.
Copy.
It's a simple question, Tommy. What's 2 plus 1? You said 3, and then you said 4.
I told you the answer.
Sit.
What was the answer? Transit position, please, gentlemen. Transit position, please.
Let's negotiate here.
Hey, bring your feet together.
Can we work this out another way?
Feet together. Stay in that position.
What is 1 plus 2?
What do you want to know about this answer?
I want to know the truth.
You have a partner sitting next to you. He's been sitting here peacefully, untouched, while you've been deciding the answer to 1 plus 3. I'm afraid that if you struggle to remember the answer to 1 plus 3, we may need your partner to help jog your memory. You think you can remember the answer to 1 plus 3, Tommy?
I think I can figure it out.
Why don't you give it to us?
1 plus 3, 5.
I don't think that's the answer that we're looking for.
What answer are you looking for?
Looking for the correct answer, Tommy. Every time you hear a slap, Tommy, that's not yours. That's somebody else paying for you because you won't answer a simple question. What's it gonna hurt anybody to tell me the answer to 1 plus 2? It's not gonna hurt anybody, except when you don't tell me the truth. Tommy, 1 plus 2 equals.
Julian, what should I tell him? 1 plus 2?
You've given me 3 answers to this one simple question. Why would I waste my time with another question?
Maybe your questions aren't very good.
This stress position was becoming increasingly more unbearable. As the minutes passed, pain was creeping into my back and hips, but I knew it wasn't enough to make me fold. We made it through phase 1 without breaking, and now it was time for a quick post-game interview.
When you've got snatched, what went through your mind?
In a real scenario, it's better to die in the street than get taken anywhere you go.
Describe what it's like to be hooded.
It smells like shit. I mean, being face down on a metal floor ain't exactly comfortable.
How long do you think you've been apprehended in this building? How many minutes?
35.
I think those stress positions felt a lot longer than they really were. It probably was actually 2 or 3 minutes each time you kept me there, but it felt like 7, 8, 9 minutes.
There's an element of, it sounds like, inconsistent time between the two of you. Part of that, do you think, is because Julian's in a comfortable position compared to Tommy?
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, let's bag him.
From the interrogations you participated in, do you have any lingering negative side effects, bad dreams, guilt, regret?
I have flashes of memory, and when those memories flash through, they don't cause me trauma or stress. They're more like an interesting moment of privileged insight.
Tommy, kneel.
Tell me about what you feel emotionally during an interrogation.
Anger is the driving force in an interrogation. Anger is the thing you have to hold back because it can drive you to make some very rash and unproductive decisions. Tommy, the original question we asked was 1 plus 3. Do you recall that conversation?
I think I remember that.
So can you please just make this easy on all of us? Can you tell us the correct answer to 1 plus 2?
I already told you the answer.
1 plus 2, Tommy.
1 plus 2?
Tell me the process of breaking down a human.
Everybody has a different recipe. For some people it's emotional, for some people it's physiological, for some people they just make mistakes in what they say, and then when you throw that mistake back in their face, they logically, rationally can't regain their footing. So people break down in different ways. Some people are emotionally distant or cold, and rationally they break down. Some people are physiologically strong, and they don't like discomfort. Some people are physiologically weak and gross and disgusting, so they already feel uncomfortable all the time, and there's no amount of pain you can put them in that makes them feel that much worse than they live. But in all cases, you're kind of mixing the three together to get that perfect concoction where somebody melts down. Let me change the question. It could go away, and here's the question that could make it all go away. What is the capital of the United States of America? At this point, I'll take the capital or 1 + 2, Tommy.
Speak to you, maybe you can't hear
A
me.
little bit hard. Let me get a health check. Sounds like you're healthy.
What makes something torture?
When I think of torture, I think back in Vietnam, some of the things that were being done in Afghanistan and Iraq, that I'm not trying to elicit information from you, I'm just physically punishing you.
Give you a break, Tommy. Let's share the burden a bit. Tell me the truthful answer to 1 + 2, or the truthful answer to the capital of the United States, and that hood is coming off.
The wet hood was giving me a creeping sense of suffocation. Each breath became more difficult, and this fed a cycle of rising panic. With no end in sight, suddenly giving up the answer to 1 + 2 didn't seem like such a big deal.
3 is the answer. Can I get some scissors, please?
My breaking point was for sure the water and ice scenario. Not necessarily because of the cold. The cold was uncomfortable, but it was the struggling to breathe as the mask kept closing in. And then as I continued my struggle, it only got more pronounced of I would blow and it would go away from me, and every time I would inhale, it was just a cycle that started amplifying itself. Talk to the speed at which people normally break in an interrogation.
In a proper interrogation, you usually have some sort of compliance within the first 7 to 15 minutes.
It only takes 10 or 15 minutes to break a good amount of people.
Yes.
Welcome back to the land of the living, sir. How are you feeling?
Not swell.
You told us a truthful answer that you were supposed to hide. Do you understand that? Why'd you decide to tell us the answer?
If you're able to keep me here indefinitely, there's no point. It's just a matter of when.
Do you know how long you were exposed to cold water? 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
No way.
Humbling. It's humbling, man.
I later learned that this ordeal took much longer than 3 minutes, but in that moment, Andy lied about me folding quickly in order to further psychologically confuse me and break me down. It just felt like you were suffocating. Your every breath was a fight.
Did you know the answer to 1 + 2?
Yeah.
So you knew the entire time, and you didn't tell us. That must mean you also know the answer to the capital of the United States, right?
I never got asked.
Can you give us the answer to the capital of the United States, Julian?
Guadalajara.
I mean, my geography isn't the best in the world,
Neither is mine.
but I would assume you would know the answer to capital of your own country.
Well, why are you assuming shit, Andy?
I think Julian needs some time in the transit position. You have a chance to do the same thing, Julian. You can also cooperate before we really start getting creative. You want to tell me that capital of the United States?
I already did.
Let's try it one last time, can we, Julian? The capital of the United States?
Guadalajara.
You know, most of the world doesn't have drinkable water. Yeah. You're gonna have all the drinkable water you could want. Did you hear Tommy talk about how hard it was to breathe?
I heard it.
Yeah. If you need us, just give us a shout. But we'll see what a little bit of time does to help you out. Let's help Julian sit up, huh? We can get him on his knees. Fairly popular in the United States, of which I am asking you to explain the capital. And that term is waterboarding. Have you heard that term before, Julian?
Once or twice.
Yeah. We're not going to waterboard you. What we are going to do is share with you an experience that is parallel to, alternate to that experience. We can help end the shivering, we can help end the shaking, it can all go away. This is your alternate experience. The more you fight, the harder you breathe. And the harder you breathe, the more your body demands oxygen. So if you want an insider tip, you have to calm yourself.
You personally have been waterboarded.
Yes.
Describe that experience.
It sucks. As soon as that panic sets in, there's no calming yourself down to come to the surface because the water just keeps coming.
Do you know what the capital is for the United States? All right, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. Good man.
I ain't dying for this shit.
Was there a point in the interrogation today where you felt your confidence crack, where you felt it change, where you went from being cocky and boisterous to being nervous or afraid?
There were 2 times when you went into the second round of the waterboarding, and after in the first round, like that whole thing and the ordeal and the aftermath, we were looking at the video afterwards, where like my head's being held back and I couldn't breathe. And that lasted, like you let that sit, you let that marinate. I was looking at the video, like that marinated longer than I thought. When you came back for the second round and I couldn't breathe again, it was like the most helpless feeling. And I was like, that's it.
Do you believe waterboarding to be a form of torture?
I do not personally believe waterboarding to be a form of torture. I think it is a highly aggressive, very psychologically traumatizing, very physiologically demanding form of enhanced interrogation, but it does not create long-term handicaps. It does not have long-term implications for physical damage.
So do you think it should still be in use today?
I think all the enhanced interrogation techniques should remain available to the US government, the DoD, and the intelligence agencies to use to keep Americans safe. Tell me what went through your head.
It was a rush, man. It was a real rush, because like when we got up and you said alternate to waterboarding, I knew that was gonna turn into pretty fucking close to waterboarding. And now obviously waterboard, you're actually all the way back. They're pouring the water straight into your face just continuously, so it's worse.
Do you believe waterboarding to be torture?
No, simply because it doesn't evoke. I don't have the intent to cause you permanent or severe injury.
What's your take on Guantanamo Bay, and do you think this will prove to be a blight on American history?
I think American history is going to forget about Guantanamo Bay in the next 3 presidential cycles at most.
But in your personal opinion, are you proud of what happened at Guantanamo Bay?
I'm not proud of most of what we have to do to keep America safe.
Right.
I think Guantanamo Bay was an effort to try to improve our national security against a threat that was adaptable, uncontrollable, transnational, and radically motivated.
So if you were the President of the United States during that time, you would have said, yes, continue what we're doing at Guantanamo Bay.
If I was the President of the United States, we would have continued what we were doing at Guantanamo Bay.
Can you provide an instance where EIT resulted in actionable intelligence that helped save human lives?
There is no instance that can be shared with the American public about a moment when classified information was successfully extracted with an enhanced interrogation technique. By nature of the fact that the information is classified.
Allowing 9/11 to happen was regarded as a massive intelligence failure by the CIA and other 3-letter agencies. And in order to prevent a future attack, the CIA decided to go gloves off and get aggressive to find ways to extract information faster from potential terrorists. Enter enhanced interrogation techniques. The CIA paid psychologists James Mitchell and Bruce Jessen over $80 million to to design methods to quickly break down detainees and produce actionable intel. A key laboratory for developing these methods was the infamous black site in Afghanistan known as the Salt Pit. And for context, some of the people sent here included Al-Qaeda's most hardened members and guys like 9/11 mastermind Khalid Mohammed. Inside, suspects would be chained to the ceiling, kept naked in freezing cold cells, forced into stress positions for prolonged periods, and they were subjected to extreme sleep deprivation for up to 11 days at a time. These practices produced both physical and psychological trauma, and in a couple cases, death. Now, proponents say that these tactics are unpleasant but absolutely necessary to have a safer America.
It was not torture. I don't believe it was torture.
While others say that these methods are a clear violation of human rights.
Were absolutely brutal, far worse than the CIA represented them to policymakers and others.
So it begs the question, does a guy like the 9/11 mastermind deserve basic human rights?
A soft approach is not going to keep a radicalized individual from hurting Americans. A soft approach is not going to alleviate the threats from a hardened aggressor. That's not how it works. The only way that you can have success against a hard, aggressive, radicalized target is to be able to demonstrate that you yourself are willing to pursue hard, radicalized techniques to break them of their will and spirit.
Do you think enhanced interrogation tactics work and should be continue to be used?
If executed per the black and white document, yes. If they're violated, no.
Now, what you've been seeing so far is enhanced interrogation against a hostile foreign threat, someone who is not a U.S. citizen. But sometimes, in some scenarios, U.S. citizens are actually taken into captivity and put through some advanced interrogation practices. And that's what we're going to show you next. American citizens can't be struck, they can't be hurt, they can't be injured in the same way that we can with a foreign hostile target. However, you can use stress positions on them to encourage them to cooperate because it's still within the realms of the law based on the situation, the information that they have. So in this case, we would put a potential risk, a potential threat, a potential suspect into a stress position for what could be minutes, what could be hours, what could possibly be days, always understanding that they have the rights as an American citizen. And because they're American citizens, none of this would be done without oversight or purview by an American law enforcement agency, something like HSI or FBI or Homeland Security, some other Department of Justice organization. All right, stand by for sear position. Let's stand him up. 1, 2, 3. Move to your knees, please, Mr. Dorey. Thank you. Let's make sure he stays in that position without support. This little thing feels like a weight right now, huh? Maybe just a little bit more. No? Let's get Tommy into position because Julian doesn't want to cooperate. We are literally after the same goal. I don't think that's the right position, Tommy. You know why Tommy's fallen over already? Because he's actually trying. Actually trying. Oh. You know, what's even easier than falling over is spelling a word. We're looking for a simple word. We're looking for July, Tommy. Can you give us July?
We're in June, pal.
Can you give us the spelling for July?
This sear position uses body mechanics to create unbearable feelings of joint pain. For me, it felt like the bone from my big toe to middle of my foot was going to snap.
No? It's not a big request, you guys. And let me make sure you understand one more thing. If we have to go beyond this position, the next one is worse.
In July!
How do you spell it?
J-U-L-Y, God damn it!
All right, let's get him out of here. Let's get him out of here. Let's get him out of here.
If what you've seen in the field is at 100% of an interrogation, what did Julie and I experience in here?
There were moments where both of you were deep in the experience, easily experiencing 70 to 80% of what a proper interrogation would look like, an enhanced interrogation would look like. But they were moments, fleeting moments, where the panic set in, where the worry set in, where even though you knew you were in multiple rings of safety, you still wanted out. Tommy, how are you feeling?
We all know that our tax dollars have funded outrageous things in the last many years, but the fact that US citizens do this, you said for days?
Depending on the crime and the organization that has the authorities to arrest, stress positions are fully legal.
Fully legal.
Would you say that was torture?
We're back to that enhanced versus torture. I mean, it was not pleasant.
Anything that causes extreme discomfort and is done against your will, I would probably classify as a level of torture.
That's probably fair.
Unfortunately, the way you classify it is not the way that it's classified in the actual confines of the law.
If you had the choice between your brains out and killing yourself or getting taken to a CIA black site indefinitely and seeing if you survive it, which would you choose?
It's a hard question because with 2 children and a spouse, the chance to see them again is motivating. You would have to make that decision one day at a time. I would imagine I would not brains out because I would want the choice to go one more day to make that decision.
I think the only way to survive something like this is to have a God, a higher power, a deep belief in something that...
Bigger than yourself.
Yeah, otherwise it's impossible.
These 2 have withstood an incredible amount of discomfort. They've done absolutely admirable performance throughout some very uncomfortable situations, but there's still one position left that's available for use against US citizens, and I could not let myself shortchange you guys from this final experience.
This might be a short one. We'll see.
Are you good at intense positions?
Need to put your forehead on the
Widen your
wall.
feet. Back up.
Spread your feet.
Forehead
and
to the
bring
wall.
those feet back.
Forehead to the wall. Back your feet up. Back your feet up. Don't move, sir. Put your heels on the ground. Back your feet up.
That's it. Back it up. Back it up. Just let us know when you're done.
What are you thinking? It's been a long day, right?
Yeah,
No more secrets.
I don't think we have much more to tell him.
Fuck it. All right, cupcake, I'm out.
I got you, brother.
All right, blueberry muffin.
What are you the most proud of in yourself today?
That you guys were telling us off camera that Tommy and I had a pretty good simulation of what these things could be like, and that it wasn't just like a complete walkthrough.
And what are you the most disappointed in yourself about today?
It was bothering me when I knew there wasn't anything that could be done when it started with Tommy getting more than I was. You don't know how much longer that's gonna go on, and you're wondering, like, do I like try to jump out of the chair and make a scene? What's gonna happen to both of us if I do that?
You were saying off camera, I want to get the line right, but by having to do an evil task, it turns a good man evil. Or you have to dip your toes into evil. How do you deal with that as a man who doesn't view himself as evil?
Drink a lot of whiskey.
Do you think the fact that we need to use enhanced interrogation techniques to protect Americans is an ugly truth that Americans need to swallow?
I won't say that they need to swallow it. I will say that it's a sad reality. If they want to face it and address it, that would be helpful. I would love for people to come together and say, first of all, why do we live in a society where we have to utilize these tool sets? Just do good, be a good human being, and we wouldn't have to use these tactics. If you weren't doing evil against innocent people, we wouldn't have to come up with enhanced interrogation techniques.
Today we got a glimpse into how the CIA conducted interrogations between 2002 and 2009, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what you just saw. For me, I'm still stuck in the gray area. On one hand, if I know that there's a guy out there with intel that can prevent a future terrorist attack, and that interrogating him could save my family or even you watching this, I would say throw the kitchen sink at this guy. Do whatever it takes to break him and get the information out of him. But then again, I think about the other side, the stories of men held in CIA black sites in places like Guantanamo Bay who may have been innocent. Take Abu Zubaydah, for example. He has been locked up for over 20 years without ever being convicted of a crime and to this day remains in Guantanamo. That is a reality I wish on nobody. But folks, maybe the truth of the matter is that most things live in the gray area. This is something with no clean answer. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching, and to see more of Andy and Trevor, click their links in my description. New merch is on the site. I'll see you next week. Folks, hope you enjoyed this episode. You want to watch another? Here. You want to subscribe? Over here. See you next week.